Skip, I don't know how you look at it, but I look at press conferences when an individual does a press conference, I look at it like someone meeting the in-laws for the very first time. Everybody's on their best behavior. They say all the great things. Oh, I've heard so many great things about you. Oh, I just couldn't wait to meet you. Oh, wow, you're so great. You've raised a wonderful child. You say all the right things. How many times did someone go to the... I'm going to be me. I'm going to play exactly in L.A. the way I played in OKC, exactly the way I played with the Washington Wizards. Did you expect him to say that? Now, I sincerely believe that Russell Westbrook always wanted to play for his hometown team. I sincerely believe that, Skip.
No doubt.
I believe he wanted to be close to his family. We know what type of family man, how he loves his friends. He keeps those guys close to him. I believe all those things. But, Skip, Russ has never been a third option. Russ has only been 1A at worst. At worst.
Yep.
You talked about all the time how the conflict was KD and Russ was like, I'm equal too. So therefore I should shoot as much from the same places that KD is allowed to shoot from.
Yep.
So for me, Skip, I know it sounds good to say, you know what, LeBron is one of the all-time greats. He can do some of everything. And so it's my job to figure it out. But, man, that's a lot easier said than done when you've only played one style of basketball basically your entire NBA career. Now, I'm anxious to see. Now, that might work game 5. That might work, but I'm going to check back game 35, game 45, and still see if everybody feels the exact same way.
Okay.
It's going to be very interesting to see Russell Westbrook plays some other way other than the way that made him what he is. That's hard to change when you become this figure that we know and love, Mr. Triple-Double, an MVP, a stat king, a stat machine.
Yep.
Man, the Joe got more triple-double than a Costco receipt. And you know how long a Costco receipt is, Skip?
I don't, but
you
go
ain't
ahead.
never been to Costco?
I've not been to Costco.
Okay.
Sorry. Have you?
I have been to Costco. I got to go.
Do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it is.
You're way ahead of me.
But, Skip, the question is, can Russ live without taking those bad shots? And that's the thing that you're going to have to, that's what the Lakers are going to have to live. Because he's going to jack up some threes. He's like, Russ, we didn't need that. He's going to turn the ball over. Like, Russ, come on. Slow it down, Russ. The question is, are the Lakers going to be able to live with that if Russ turns the ball over at a high clip like he normally does, if he starts living with some of those bad shots like we've seen him done? But I believe Russ is happy to be home. I believe he always wanted to play for his hometown team. All that other stuff, Skip, I'm going to take the approach. I'm going to wait and see.
Aha. Yet and still, the man sitting across from me, Shannon Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe, told me on Monday, upon our return from vacation, that the Lakers are better than they were last year. How can you justify it after what you just told me?
But Skip, I mean, he's a better player. He's a better player than all the guys that they got rid of. So just by him...
Are you sure he's a more effective player in this system than Schroeder was?
Yeah.
Are you sure of that?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Dennis Schroeder in just a minute. It came to this for Dennis Schroeder.
I think everybody told you what they thought of Dennis Schroeder.
Okay, but the Lakers told you what they thought because they did offer him 4 years at $84 million. He just had to accept 1 year at 5.9. Are you sure that Schroeder wasn't a better fit than Russell Westbrook?
Sometimes the best deals are the deals
ones
you don't make.
Well, in this case, that better be the case, although you're actually making the case in everything you just said about his opening remarks that it's not the case.
No, Skip,
you don't trust any of this.
No, Skip, I got to see. I got to see. I can't.
But you've been seeing for these 13 years of Russell Westbrook. You know exactly what he is and what he is not. And now he is yours. Now he is LeBron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now.
And so you're trying to say, well, I think maybe. There's no maybe here. You know after 13 NBA seasons exactly what he is not.
So you saying Bron can't have no calming effect? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
If anybody could make this work, I believe LeBron could. And in the end, even LeBron will throw up his hands and say, I'm sorry, this is a disaster, this was a mistake. That's what will happen ultimately.
But you do realize that LeBron knows that this has to work because the reports came out that the Lakers front office brass wanted Buddy Hield, but LeBron and AD wanted Russell Westbrook. So if this does not work out, who lap is they going to put this in?
Well, I still say that Russell's reputation is so bad around the league, just among fans. Let's just do fans, because everybody knows what he's not. Everybody loves to watch him. He's TD, triple-double, right? He's Mr. Touchdown, as in triple-double. He is must-see TV.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody play harder on offense than Russell Westbrook does every dribble. So we all get that. But he is a solo act. And all of a sudden, when you put him with LeBron James, the ultimate distributor, it's fire and water. It does not blend. It does not work.
Right.
Okay, and I think even you know that. But in the end, everybody knows that to the point that he's going to become the ultimate scapegoat. If you think Dennis Schroeder was a scapegoat for LeBron last year, this is times 100.
Dennis Schroeder wasn't a scapegoat. The numbers speak for themselves. The numbers speak. Dennis Schroeder's numbers speak for themselves. He don't need a scapegoat. You took that anomaly season that he had at OKC and you tried to make that his whole career. That was an anomaly season. You know that, I know that, and the rest of the league seemingly know that. That's why he was only able to sign a 1-year, $5.9 million deal. Skip, but at the end of the day, if LeBron James can't make it work, I don't know if it's going to be able to work. But I do believe...
Okay, well, just let's remind everybody, Kevin Durant could not make it work after 8 years. He said no.
Okay.
James Harden tried 1 year and said no.
Right.
Paul George tried 2 years, and when he got his escape hatch, he leaped right through it to get out.
Russ should have recommended he leave after the first year, after he gave him 5 points in Utah. That's what Russ should have told Sam Preston to get him up out of here.
Right. Well, despite Russ's solo act at Utah, they still got wiped out.
Russ had 44.
Okay, all right, here we go. This whole media session had so many SMHs in it, and I make them all caps, SMH, that I don't even know where to start, because I was shaking my head again and again and again. I got sheets of quotes here.
You got a bunch of sheets, more sheets than I've ever seen
that you've ever seen, because I don't know where to start. So I'll start with this quote.
Okay.
This is Russell Westbrook, yesterday in his introductory remarks. He says, I always want to stay true to who I am, but with that, making sure I'm willing to listen and be all ears. Those are two very conflicting statements back to back from Russell Westbrook, who can turn into Russell Westbrook, as you know.
Correct.
So to me, Russ is the classic basketball player with the little devil on one shoulder and the little angel on the other, because some of his instincts are good.
Yes.
And I do think that LeBron and AD like him off the floor at this moment. They might not like him in 6 months from now or 8 months from now, but right now they think he's a pretty good dude. That's what they think.
Yes.
So Russ often gives in to the little devil on the left shoulder who says, hey, you got to stay true to who you are, because who he is put your head down and drive it. Right?
Yes.
Or go up and shoot it because you are the man. That's what he thinks, which leads to my second point. He went on and on about Kobe Bryant and how close they became, and it came across to me that he believes he was much closer to Kobe than LeBron ever was close to Kobe.
I wouldn't doubt that.
And his point was, and Rob Pelinka reinforced this, and obviously Rob was the agent for Kobe Bryant for many years, so was very close to the situation, that Kobe blessed Russ because he did have Mamba mentality in Kobe's view. Now, again, this is offensive Mamba mentality. It's not defensive. But on offense, nobody's ever played harder than Russ has, especially rebounding the basketball, right? As a 6'3" guard.
You're absolutely right. And I do believe that Russ was probably close. There are a lot of guys that were probably closer to LeBron. I'm not saying that they didn't have a great relationship.
Closer to Kobe,
closer to Kobe than LeBron.
Yes.
But the problem that I have with people is that people have revisionist history, because what they see with Russell Westbrook, that was Kobe. Kobe was the guy that would come down and jack up bad shot after bad shot after bad shot.
That's fair.
And fans would kill him. He became so much more beloved outside of L.A. because he was always beloved in L.A. But he became so much more beloved outside of L.A. at once his passing. But people used to kill Kobe. Go back and look at the timeline. Go back and look at it on social media and everything that was said. Russell Westbrook was just like Kobe on the offensive end. Bad shot after bad shot. What did Michael Jordan say in the Last Dance, Skip? Don't pass that boy to that little Bryant boy.
Well, that was when he was just a kid.
But that's what I'm saying. Because everybody shoot. What did Shaq? Him and Shaq fell out. Shoot.
Correct.
So now all of a sudden,
I got it. Okay.
The Mamba mentality is great now.
Yet the kinship was deeper between Russ and Kobe than LeBron and Kobe.
I think because Russ grew up watching Kobe. played for his
did.
favorite team,
Okay.
and they got close, yes.
And Russ talked yesterday, went on and on about how surreal it is for him to be back in L.A. because he grew up, as he says, watching the parades. I was trying to miss school so I could go to the parades. Okay, so it's deep in his heart in ways that it'll never be deep in LeBron's heart to be a Los Angeles Laker.
Right.
As great as LeBron looks in 23 purple and gold, I give you that. LeBron was born to be a Laker, to be in Hollywood. I give you that. But Russ actually grew up a Laker fan.
Right.
So my point is, Russ is going to step on the floor in purple and gold and say, I own this team. This is me. This is who I am, in ways that LeBron and AD can never even fathom how deep it runs in the heart of Russell Westbrook to actually wind up his career as a Laker.
Skip, how old is Russ? I don't know.
32?
32? Hell, I don't believe Russ was alive when they was winning championship with the Showtime Lakers.
Well, not the Showtime, but the Kobe Lakers.
Skip, the Kobe, well, yeah, the Kobe, so he meant the 2000, 99, 2000, 2001. But, yeah, but Skip, look, it's easy to want to play for your hometown team when they're the Lakers, or your hometown team is the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
But everybody doesn't want to play for their hometown team because they don't have that aura, that mystique.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so now we go to the next set of quotes. And we got Russell Westbrook saying that LeBron is one of the best ever to play this game, obviously. And he's saying that his ability to kind of do everything on the floor allows me to be able to figure out where I fit in with all of the above.
Right.
Really? Are you sure about that? That's what he said, but you're not buying it and I'm not buying it. Because it just doesn't make sense, because Russ only knows one speed and one gear, one way to attack. He is in attack mode every second of the night. So in the end, he says, there are many ways you can impact the game without having the ball in your hands. I've been able to do that for many years. I will figure it out. Timeout. You've known. What are you talking about?
You always had the ball in your hand,
Okay,
Russ.
so in usage rate, Russell Westbrook, in the last 11 seasons that he's played, in 8 of those seasons, he was 1 or 2 in usage rate.
Yes.
4 times he led the whole NBA in usage rate, and 4 other times he was second in the whole NBA
Probably
in
the James
usage
Harden.
rate. Right? Okay, that's 8 of the last 11 seasons. He's just had the ball in his hands as much as anybody. Yet he's saying there are many ways you can impact the game without having the ball in your hands. Baloney. I'm sorry, it's not it's not how he's built. You can't. And Vogel's saying we all have to sacrifice. No, he is who he is. And that first quote, I always want to stay true to who I am. He will stay. In the end, he will be true to Russell Westbrook.
Skip, there are very few guys that's ever played this game that can impact the game without having the ball in their
Very
hand.
few.
You talk about a guy like
Agreed.
Dennis Rodman.
I agree.
Could impact the game.
I
and he
totally
didn't even
agree.
need to. He might have 25 rebounds with 0 points and 0 shot attempts.
And one reason I love, I'm going to say it one more time, Kevin Durant so much, best player on the planet, is because he can be so effective scoring the basketball on so few shots.
Yes.
It's just hard to fathom. It's hard to get it through your head how few times he needs to touch the ball and still get you 30 points.
That's correct.
Right?
That is correct.
Okay. Now we go to Frank Vogel's quote. He is saying that what I love the most about our group, and he's calling the group Bron, AD, and Russ, what I love the most about our group is they're all about make the right play kind of players.
Right.
Make the right play? What is Russ's biggest problem in key moments of big games? Not making the right play, taking the wrong shot.
Be it wrong or right.
Right? He's wildly out of control going to the basket, or he's jacking up threes. And I'm going to remind everybody, since Russ stepped on an NBA floor in all the 13 years that he's played, he has been simply the worst high-volume three-point shooter in the entire league. This is what you're going to have to cope with.
But, Skip, I would like to think, before this transaction went down, AD, LeBron, and Russ got together. They had a conversation.
It was reported that they did have conversations.
So
I don't know if they actually got together.
No,
but they
Skip, no. This ain't no Skip. This is not something we can discuss over the phone. I need to see you face to face. I need to see your body.
You were right about that, but I don't know that actually
Skip,
happened.
I'm going to need to see when I say, bro.
Although, wasn't it reported? Did they go to LeBron's house? I think they did.
Yeah.
I think I read that.
Because last year, they were at LeBron's house. They were smoking cigars, and they was having a good time.
Yep.
But Skip, I think this is something that we got to sit down and we got to have a conversation about the sacrifices. LeBron's like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to have the ball in my hand all the time, and I might not score 25. That might come down to 23, 22. AD is like, okay, I'm going to need my AD. I think their offense needs to run through AD. That's me personally. But Russ is going to have to understand you're not a solo act anymore. You're a solo act in a great group now.
Okay. All right. So make the right play players, says Frank Vogel.
Yes.
Well, obviously LeBron is make the right play.
That's sometimes that's to his fault. Everybody says.
Fault. Anthony Davis is make the right play kind of player.
Right.
I give you that. Russell Westbrook 4 times has led this league in turnovers, and 4 more times has been second in this league in turnovers. That's all you need to know. That's not making the right play. That's making way too many wrong plays.
Yes,
right?
sometimes, a lot of times it's for Skip. I mean, he gets ahead and he gets up in the air and it's like, okay, I can't lay it up. Let me try to pass it up to somebody else. They're not ready for it. The ball goes out of bounds or it gets stolen. But Skip, for me, this is not enough. And when it first started, when I first was like, man, this is not a thing. And I still don't believe it is a natural fit. I still don't believe it's the greatest of, the smoothest of fits, like Kevin Durant going to Golden State. That's a great fit.
It was.
Because the ball moves so much, nobody has the ball any length of time.
If you want to know the truth, Kevin Durant is a great fit wherever he goes. It's just easy for him to blend right in because he's not going to demand the basketball.
AD was a great fit for LeBron.
He was. I completely concur.
But when you take a guy, because AD is not going to have the ball, I got to get him the ball. So my job is to get him the ball in the right spot. Well, Russ can take the ball, can get the ball from one end of the court. Russ will grab the rebound.
Okay.
All right, y'all meet me at the other end or I'm going by myself. So that's the question, Skip. How does a guy that's so used, as you mentioned, the high usage rate, a guy that's used to having the ball that much, all of a sudden, when I've been 1-8 at worst, all of a sudden says, you know what? I'm cool with being the third option. Remember, they tried to get Carmelo. Carmelo had to miss half a season for him to come to the realization, damn, I'm not Nuggets Melo. I'm not Knicks Melo. They view me as a different Melo.
Correct.
How will Russ view that?
Okay. Which brings me to my final quote from Rob Pelinka, former player agent, now the GM.
He was Kobe's agent.
Yeah, Kobe's agent.
He's a lot of guys' agents.
A lot of agents. Okay. I'm gonna read a longer quote from him, and I think we're gonna put it up for you to follow along here. But he's talking about Russ here, and he says he's one of the most liked, respected, and beloved players in the league by players he played with.
I agree with that.
He's an incredible leader. When you talk to teammates from the other storied franchises he played for, to a man, says Rob Pelinka, the input you get is he is one of the greatest teammates that player ever played with. That speaks to his character and his leadership. Those are qualities that are incredibly important to our team, says Rob Pelinka. I'm sorry, I don't believe it when it comes, number one, to Kevin Durant.
Okay.
I just don't believe that at this moment Kevin loves and respects Russ. In some ways he does. But remember, he chose to leave because I know for a fact he finally said, I can't win with him as my primary decision maker, as my ball handler, my point guard. And remember what happened? Remember that game on February 11th of 2017? It was the first time they met, Russ still in Oklahoma City, Kevin in Golden State, and it was at Oklahoma City. And Golden State won 130-114, and KD had 34-9. But Russ went off and had 47. He had 47 that night.
And that's when they was barking at each other. I'm coming.
They were after each other, and it looked like they wanted to kill each other. Mostly Russ wanted to kill Kevin. And remember what happened when Kevin played his first finals game for Golden State, game number 1? Do you remember this? What did Russ do? He posted that he was watching Sister Act 2, not Sister Act 1, Sister Act 2. He's watching that just to make the point, I have no use for what he's doing with the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
I just don't know if that's being beloved. I'm not sure about
Skip,
that.
I think okay, let's take if Kevin Durant might feel a certain way, but it's hard for us to ignore that I believe that there are more teammates that love Russ and admire and respects how hard he plays and knows that he gives you.
I get that part of
Yes.
it. But in the end, I guess my point is, did they love playing with Russ? They might love him and respect his game and how hard he plays.
Yeah.
But did Kevin love playing with Russ? I say no. Did James ultimately, and they were childhood friends, AAU friends, did James love playing with Russ? I'm going to say no.
Russ had, but James had some issues that Russ didn't like
Okay,
also.
I got it. And you're right about that. Did Paul George, again, a Southern California kid just like Russ, did he love playing with Russ in Oklahoma City? In the end, I don't believe he loved playing with him.
Guess what Russ did for Paul George? Got him third in the MVP voting.
Okay.
He scored more points than any point in time ever.
Okay, but this is a little over the top to say he's one of the most liked, respected, and beloved players.
I believe he is one of the most liked and respected.
Is he really an incredible leader of a basketball team? Does he really know how to push all the right buttons to get everybody involved and win championships?
Skip,
I haven't seen that.
Skip, you do realize the year that Kevin Durant left, Russ was the MVP. He averaged a triple-double. He got that team to the 4th seed. That's worth something, right? That's got to mean something, Skip.
Solo act. And he might be the greatest solo act in the history of this league, seriously. Because I didn't think anybody could ever average a triple-double after Oscar did back in, what was it,
61, 62.
62 is when he finished, that triple-double season. Okay, I didn't think it was possible, and all this man has done is 4 out of 5 years. It's impossibly great. Solo great. Does that contribute to winning a championship? Well, we're about to find out, and I'm a big no on it. I will double down, no, especially after I heard all this.
Well, how about this here? Look at, okay, I'll put it to you. I'm going to do it to you like this here, Skip Bayless. We know Jay. Jay is one of the all-time great rappers, and a lot of people, he's their number one. But he could collab. So, hey, Russ going to collab with us. That's how we're going to look at it like that. He's saying he on the hook.
I personally think Wayne is the greatest.
Okay,
and he features a lot of people.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, so Wayne is a solo act. But he's on Drake, he's Nicki Minaj, he's on different. We can make it work.
Okay, but when they collab, as you say, with others, they are still the star of that show, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little different with basketball skill. You got your bars, I got mine. There's only one ball.
Wayne is still the guy, right? We know that. We know that about him. This is going to be interesting how it plays out. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.